Hey guys, Joe Madden here. It is Down to the Wire on the Vegas Insider Network. I am so excited to be here. It is Friday. College football week 1 is in full swing. I've got 2 amazing guests for you guys today. We're going to start this off with Coach AJ Pratt, and then we're going to welcome in Kevin Thomas. Coach, welcome to the show. Excited to have you here. Offensive coordinator, former for Kent State. It's such a pleasure to be talking to you today. And Western Kentucky. I can't leave them off.
No, I actually take great pride in being a high school football coach. And as I told you a little bit ago, I'm getting ready to go watch a couple buddies coaching 2 of the best programs in the state of Ohio. But hey, you do an awesome job. So when you asked me to do this, I would have said no if you didn't do an awesome job. But you do an awesome job, so that's why I said, okay, let's do this.
Well, it is an absolute pleasure. I hope you enjoy this game tonight. I know you have so much going on. You have left the field for coaching, but you haven't left the game. You have your podcast, the O Show. You also have a show that you do tonight after these high school games. Can you tell us a little bit about that before we jump into your thoughts on college football this week?
Sure, absolutely. No, my family and I relocated. I'm in finance insurance business, and when they heard I moved to town, I coached at several high schools in Ohio and Kentucky, and then my 12, 13 years of college football in the MAC and what was the Sun Belt. I didn't want to do it, to be honest with you, because I'm a ball coach, but it's allowed me to reconnect. You know, I starting this week, I'll watch about 30 games a week, and I typically talk to 20, 25 coaches a week across the country. So I actually know what's going on. And no, it's been a nice bridge from my former life to my new one. Now I will make an announcement. I got out so I could be a dad and a husband. Well, my kids are about out of the house. We got one left. I'm not going to say I'm not going to coach again.
I love that. I love to hear it. And I know a lot of people are excited to hear that, AJ, because you did a fantastic job with every single team that you coached. And I really appreciate you being here today, because I think a coach's perspective on these games really leaves us insight into how to bet these games. So we're going to dive into some of these games. First, I want to know who you're really high on this upcoming season.
Well, send your fans to, you got lots of fans, send your fans to listen to the O Show, because I really broke that down the last 2 weeks. But in my opinion, and to coaches, this is poison, but according to the experts and how they rank recruits, Alabama and Ohio State have more 4 and 5 stars than any teams ever since they've kept track of that. I like the mindset of the Georgia players. It's harder to stay on top than it is to get to the top. And when I say that, Georgia's Coach Smart's been saying, we are not the hunted, we're still the hunter. So they're going to be there. Clemson is this is going to be an interesting year for me to see. You know, Coach Saban has always lost coaches, except for this year. There really wasn't much change over there, except for one. But Dabo's lost his staff. He lost both coordinators to Virginia, and obviously Coach Venables to Oklahoma. So, and he does a lot of hiring from within and promoting. So they are ultra talented, especially at the defensive front, but all over the field. And, you know, everybody says Clemson wasn't very good last year. They won 10 games. So they're going to be – this is a big year for Clemson. Not so sure about Notre Dame. I don't know. First-year coach, you're a CEO when you're the head coach at Notre Dame. Coach Freeman is a great talent and a really good football coach. But, you know, his openers at his alma mater about 2 miles from where I'm sitting tomorrow night, and that's a tough go. I will say I want folks to keep a look at Utah. Coach Whittingham has done a great job. He's a really, really good football coach. They're tough. They don't beat themselves, and they're talented. They've got a lot of people back from a Rose Bowl team that could have very easily won that game against the Buckeyes. But, yeah, and I'm interested to see about USC because they've got talent. You got Caleb Williams that's transferred from Oklahoma with Coach Riley. and he's a good player. We saw that last year when he took the job from Spencer Rattler. So I just think in college football there's such a separation. Don't let me forget Texas A&M.
Can't forget Texas A&M.
Jimbo has won a national championship. They're well coached. I think DJ Durkin is an outstanding defensive football coach, and they plucked him from Ole Miss. But they've won the rivals recruiting battle the last 2 years with the #1 class. So they may still be a little young, but we all know, if we're football fans, the most critical position on any team is the quarterback. That's the big question I have: is that position for Texas A&M going to allow them to be in a title run?
Absolutely. Well, let's get into a couple of these games. The first one, close to both our hearts. I know Ohio State is one of your teams here, the Buckeyes. What do they have to do to come out and beat Notre Dame and cover this enormous spread?
What I'm interested to see is there was a blueprint to beat Ohio State last year by Michigan and even Utah, playing really, really physical up front. And I know for a fact this offseason, their toughness has been questioned every day. That has been a key to their offseason, is we will never be called not tough again. But I'm going to tell you what, their offense, it is from any position, their position. We're talking about 3 Heisman candidates at quarterback, running back, and receiver. And their offensive line, some have rated as the top offensive line in the country as a unit. They have a new coach there. If the Buckeyes don't give the ball away, and I do think it's important for the Buckeyes to have balance on offense. I think we're going to see a little more Travion Henderson this year than we even did last year, and he had a great year as a freshman. No, as long as they don't beat themselves, they're so talented and they're well coached. I just don't know. First-year coach, first-year staff, going to Ohio Stadium, 8 o'clock at night. I think that's going to be a really, really tough get for Notre Dame. But they've got good players too. So I like the Buckeyes. Just don't know if it's 17 points.
With Notre Dame so strong in the trenches, what can they do to get this win tonight? How would they have to take this one?
Well, I'd have to believe one. I think they know they can't let Ohio State be balanced. So I'm interested to see if they're going to commit to stop the run. Well, that may lead to fast death. But no, this is what they have to do. It's important for them to be able to get pressure on C.J. Stroud with their front 4, so that they can play some 2 safety coverages to try to keep from having the big plays over the top. And they need to be able to run the ball and shorten the game, because you do not want to be in a track meet with Ohio State. And by the way, watch that game. There's brand new turf, one of a kind, on Ohio Stadium's field tomorrow night. And the Buckeyes have got to play and practice on it. Notre Dame hasn't. Little stuff like that matters.
Can Ohio State go all the way, AJ?
Yeah, absolutely. But, I talked about this on the O Show yesterday. Ohio State fans don't expect to ever lose a game. Alabama fans, every team every year is different. Yes, they're ultra talented. Is their leadership good? Are they hungry? Injuries? That's the thing. I don't know, without C.J. Stroud at quarterback, if they're a national title team, because his name just slipped my mind. He's from Pennsylvania. Their backup, Kyle McCord. He may be fantastic with some growth from last year. But yeah, the Buckeyes are a good bet to be playing in the final game.
So they have a win total this season of 10.5. You think they get 11 wins or more?
Well, I like their schedule. I'd rather play Ohio State's schedule than Alabama and Texas A&M schedule in the SEC West.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wisconsin here in a couple weeks, early in the year. Obviously, Penn State found a way to win in a late one last night. And I know Coach Franklin, and they're talented. And Manny Diaz there now, with a little more pressure on defense. That's not going to be an easy game. Obviously, the team up north has to come to Ohio Stadium. That's what they say here, Michigan. And then We've got I'm missing Iowa. Iowa in late October.
Okay, who do you think would be the biggest competition for Ohio State? Is it Georgia? Is it Alabama? Who are you looking at?
Well, when you listen to some of the things that Coach Saban has said this past offseason and recently, maybe I'm not going to say that. He is saying some things that make me believe that he really thinks a lot of what he has with this football team going in, and I think a lot of it's leadership. But, I mean, you may have the best player in college football is Will Anderson that plays on the defensive side of the football. They didn't have, like I said, very little turnover on that staff. They've got the Heisman Trophy winner back. I know they've made a change at offensive line in terms of their staff. But in my opinion, those are the big two. And Georgia's knocking on the door.
Okay. Clemson, Monday night, are facing Georgia Tech. What are you thinking of this matchup? Like we said before, Clemson went 10-3 last season. Are they going to have a better one coming out here? Which wasn't terrible, 10-3, but people expected a lot more out of Clemson. What do you think this year? They have Klubnik, I believe I pronounced his name properly, freshman quarterback. Can this Clemson team cover the spread against Georgia Tech? It's huge on Monday night.
What is that number? I looked for it and I didn't see it. I didn't think they had one.
I believe it was 21.5 the last time I saw it. Just let me make sure I got my numbers right here. It is definitely a big spread, and Clemson will be hungry for this win.
Yeah, like I said, they've lost two really good football coaches and coordinators, but Clemson's one of the most 3 or 4 most talented teams in the country. And it's the haves and the have-nots. And then you throw in the transfer portal. That's the other thing. You know, Alabama filled in some gaps with an offensive lineman that's starting. They had 4 years of starting at Vanderbilt. They get the running back that maybe one of the better running backs in the country, is from Georgia Tech. And then they've made way not just in recruiting but the transfer portal, and other schools have too. But yeah, the thing that was hard for me to say yes to doing stuff like this is coaches think a different way. And what I mean by that, what you do is hard. You would be better at picking games. You are. I mean, you're great at what you do, but I'm talking about a lot of people would be better at picking games with spreads than me and a lot of football coaches, because we think of things we know. If it's an injury, there's all these unknowns that we don't like. But what I will say is Clemson has been told they're not very good. They were 2-2 to start the season, so they only lost 1 game since the first 4 games. And Georgia Tech struggled. That staff is on the hot seat. They have to win, and opening up the season with that opponent is probably not what Georgia Tech really wanted.
As a coach, AJ, what is it like when your coaching staff is on the hot seat, when you know this is do or die? How is it for those players, and how is it for you going into those games?
Oh, it's we used to joke in the staff room. I'd tell guys, I say, hey, this is true. What I'm about to tell you is true. I would joke and said, can any of you guys call any of your buddies at any other staffs and see if they're very happy right now? Because the only thing you're worried about after you win or lose is, okay, it's like you hate losing more than you enjoy winning. But no, I would tell you, there's 2 kinds of coaches, Joe, those that have been and those that will be fired. But one reason I tell people I got out is I never got fired. So
you never got fired.
I never got.
You walked off on your own.
That's correct. Yeah,
wow.
I walked in and resigned and said I'm going to go be a dad and a husband. But no, seriously, it's there was a time about halfway through my tenure at Kent State that we went to play a game at Ohio University, and it was we called it a jobber. I knew if we lost that game that we were going to be told we're no longer going to be employed. And it was a tight game. We won the game. We won a couple more games late. We got to stay. So That's a sick feeling when you got wife and kids, and you can't guarantee yourself you're going to get a job in the off season. So you may be packing boxes at some industrial park.
That definitely would not be a feeling any of us would like to feel. AJ, hats off to you for never getting fired, for walking off that field and being a dad and a husband. So that is really a great accomplishment there. Okay, Georgia and Alabama. I need you to touch on both of these teams. What do you think of Georgia's hopes to repeat that national championship?
Oh, I think absolutely. Here's the thing. Coach Smart was with Coach Saban so long. He learned so much. And but the way Georgia has recruited. Now, what you have with their situation is they lost so many starters on defense. But they probably close. I think it's Bowers, their tight end, or Mayer, Notre Dame's tight end. Arguably the two best players at that position in the country. But offensively, Georgia's going to be just fine. And I can't ever think of Kirby Smart not having a good defense. Now, they lost some really good players that will be playing on Sundays this year. But Georgia's recruited very, very, very well since Kirby's got there. So when I said, and I mean this, it's harder to stay at the top than it is to get to the top. Alabama has a sour taste. And I heard Coach Saban get asked this question, well, what if Jameson Williams doesn't get hurt in the national title game? And his answer was, it's hard to beat the same team twice, especially when they're as good as Georgia. And who knows? Jameson Williams is in the game or not. It did affect the game. And they also lost a quarterback going into that game that they had in the SEC championship when they dominated Georgia. It's probably a pick 'em. If you're making me make a decision today, I'm not going to vote against Nick Saban.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Is there any teams out there that are playing in tomorrow's games that you're looking at, they're coming in as an underdog, that you think we have to take a second look at here?
Well, I'm trying to think. Since I'm sitting at a car, I don't have anything in front of me.
Absolutely.
Here's one thing I will tell you. I have friends in the top 25 that last year had really good years, but they snuck up on some people. Once you have a really good season, you have an off season where you have everybody patting you on the back, telling you how good you are, and you're not sneaking up in on anybody anymore. You almost saw it last night. Some people have Pitt as a darling to win the ACC. Pitt fought for their life at home last night against a West Virginia team. So I think there's a few other teams like that they've had success. Everybody's told them how good they are. That's the last thing coaches want their kids being told in the offseason is how great they are. And now they're not sneaking up on people. And you can go through those teams. I think NC State's one of them. Pitt's one of them. Wake Forest is one of those. And one that plays tomorrow in a good battle. You have a Final Four team in UC that lost a lot of players going to Arkansas. And Sam Pittman, what he's done there, but to play in that SEC West, that opponent, UC lost a lot. I expect Arkansas, what is that spread? 6, 7, 8, maybe more than that.
Yeah, right around there. Right around 7.5, I believe. Okay,
yeah.
Coach, I need to ask you about these rivalry games, about these big spreads. Do coaches have this circle? Do they know what the spread is, what people think they're going to be winning by? Does this even go into the mindset of a coach?
Well, you don't ever talk to the players about it, ever. Now, I can tell you who has heard a lot about a spread this offseason. Ohio State's been favored by about where they're at for a long time. So I've even read some of the comments of the Notre Dame players that they're using that as fuel. But this is, again, I like what you do and how you do it. But you all that make these spreads and understand this stuff, you're pretty dadgum accurate. So you go into the game and every week you look at where they really think we're going to get beat by 18. Wait, are they watching the same team? We're 7-point favorites, and I just pray to God we get out of there with a 1-point victory. I mean, that's you look at it, but you don't talk to your players about it unless you can use it as fuel.
Okay. Is there any teams that you think are using it as fuel? I heard Notre Dame's head coach was using it as fuel with how big of a favorite Ohio State was, them wanting to come in and get this win. Do you think there's any coaches that use it like that?
No, it's you do. I mean, you if you go into, especially if it's a rivalry game, and they're saying, hey, you guys, yeah, you go in the locker room, you look, because guys, there's no sense in us even playing this game. They say we're going to get beat by 17. Why do we even need to go on this trip? And you say it till they get sick of it. So yeah, absolutely, you use it as fuel sometimes. Now, when you're at Kent State and Western Kentucky, and you're going to play Virginia Tech and Ohio State, and Penn State, all the places I got to coach, you didn't want the players to see the spread because you know it's probably pretty accurate.
It's gotta hurt. It's gotta hurt seeing 20-point dog for sure there. Okay, Coach, I know you've got to get to this game, but before you leave, I need to know where people can follow you. You have so many great shows. You've got your high school show, your O show. Let us know where they can follow you on social medias.
Yeah, it's iHeartRadio. Good iHeart app. It's the OH Show. The OH Show. So it's called the O Show, but that's where you find it's the OH Show on iHeartRadio. And I will tell you, it may say the O Show, but I know you listen to it, Joe, and I greatly appreciate that. That means something to me. But I try to cover it on a national scene, and I don't talk about a game from the past week unless I've watched it. And that doesn't make my wife very happy because I watch about 30 games a week. And typically, if I'm talking about a game that's coming up, I usually talk to an opponent. We talk about the Ohio State game at the end of each show, and I'm typically talking to a coach from a staff that's already played them or is playing them in that game, so I get some insight. So I'm not just making stuff up. I couldn't do it if I had to do it that way. So it takes a lot of time. I enjoy it. It allows me to talk to friends across the country. But yeah, it's the 08 Show, and thank you for letting folks know that. It comes out every Thursday, usually around 5 p.m. Eastern.
Coach, I want to thank you so much for joining me here on Down to the Wire by VegasInsider. Enjoy this football season. I can't wait to have you on again to pick your brain.
Hey, it was an honor to do it. I was honored that you asked. You knock it out of the park. So you asked me. I don't know if I can tell you no.
Well, I'll definitely have you back, Coach. It was an absolute pleasure. Enjoy this game tonight. Good luck on your show tonight.
Hey, enjoy football this weekend.
Thank you. It's going to be a great one. Okay, you guys, that was Coach AJ Pratt. He was offensive coordinator for Kent State as well as Western Kentucky. I tell you, you have to check out his show. Listening to him talk has really helped my college football handicapping over the last couple of years. Wealth of information that you can get from these coaches that I think a lot of people overlook. So let's jump into, I've got 3 best bets today. We will have Kevin Thomas hopefully joining us in the next couple of minutes here. But just a reminder, you guys, this is Down to the Wire. We are live Monday through Friday from 6 p.m. Eastern to 7 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you hit that subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss any of the shows. Moving forward, mid-month, I'm going to be taking over every single Wednesday night. So check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of great guests and a lot of great bets. This game that I'm going to talk about first is kicking off at the top of the hour, you guys. So if you want to get it in, I recommend getting it in fast. I'm looking at the matchup between Old Dominion and Virginia Tech. Slipped my mind. Sorry, you guys. Old Dominion coming in here as a barking dog, in my opinion. I think they are going to have an absolutely incredible game. I'm going to grab them plus the points here. Plus, the line has moved. Please shop this line. It was plus 7.5 earlier. I just saw 6.5 pop up as money is coming in on Old Dominion here. I look at them. Last season, they finished off so strong, and we saw them solid against the spread at home all of last season. This is one of those games where I think Virginia Tech is going to show some struggles. They've got quarterback Grant Wells. Now, he is from Marshall, and he was very interception prone. I think Old Dominion's defense is going to be able to turn this ball over and keep them in this game. I definitely think they cover, and I really do think that they can get this win here at home. I really do like them in this one. So that is my first best bet of the night, riding with Old Dominion plus the 7.5 or even 6.5, because I'm also sprinkling on that money line. The second best bet of the night, I'm going to look at the game we just talked with Coach AJ Pratt. So Notre Dame taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. We talked about how strong this Buckeyes team is offensively. Notre Dame coming in here, like Coach said, it's 8 o'clock Eastern game or local game. And this is going to be a loud stadium. Ohio State really looking to get this win, and in a big fashion. Now, they have a team total that I am liking here. They also, when we look at it, sorry, my team total is not right in front of me, 38.5, I believe. I'm going to hit their team total over. I look at Notre Dame and the Buckeyes it's 38.5. I knew there was movement, 37.5 earlier in the week. So hopefully you guys caught that. But the offensive side of the ball here is so powerful for the Buckeyes. I think they can rack up these points. I worry about Notre Dame at the end, maybe getting that backdoor cover, which is why I'm not going to take the spread here at 17.5. I just think the Buckeyes definitely get the points on the board. We've got a Fighting Irish team here coming in, like Coach Pratt said, with a brand new coaching staff coming in. It's going to be a really interesting game to see how this one plays out. But the Buckeyes getting over that 38.5 points is definitely where I'm going to go. CJ Stroud is just absolutely phenomenal. The offensive line will give him the time they need, even against this Notre Dame's team that is so strong in the trenches. They're going to play a solid game, and I just don't think they have enough weapons to contain the Buckeyes in this one. So you guys, Kevin is going to be here shortly. So actually, you know what? Let's just welcome him in now. I was going to say I'll get to my last bet, but we're going to get to Kevin first. Kevin, welcome back to the show.
Hey, how you doing? It's great to be here. Thank you.
Doing great. I'm happy to have you here, senior handicapper for Vegas Insider. How's things been going lately, Kevin?
It's been going great. I mean, I'm on fire over there and having a good time. I mean, I'm new to Vegas Insider and I can't be happier, and I'm looking forward to the football season. I know we had week 0 and we're into week 1, but these lines will actually start leveling out, and more sharp bettors like myself will take advantage of some great action coming up.
Absolutely, Kevin. I know how strong you are in college football and in the NFL, so I cannot wait to see what you do this season. Let's talk about the Rutgers and Boston College game. I know you're looking at this. We've got a total that is dropping. What are you liking in this game?
That total dropping is telling me that we're going to see Noah Vidal, quarterback for Rutgers. I'm going to give two sides of this, and depending on who the quarterback is, that's where we're going to put our money. Because if they go to Gavin Wimsatt from Rutgers, he's a dual quarterback. They're going to do more Wildcat. I thought he was going to be the starter, but I think they're going to go with Noah just because I think in 2 or 3 games they're going to be in Big Ten action. So I guess they want to keep him more of a secret. I know this is a must-win for both these squads because, they want to be bowl eligible. But I think Rutgers feels that they can hang with Boston College with Noah and then have the shock factor with Gavin for the Big Ten games. But this is a tale of two coaches that know each other well. I mean, Greg Schiano, he's worked with Jeff Hatfield on the other side. They both your alma mater. They're Ohio State. They're defensive buddies over there in 2016, and Greg Schiano, I mean, everybody knows him. Great guy. Yeah, he got the roll end of a deal. I'm in PA, so I know about all the Penn State and all that went on, and that's a horrible thing that happened. So he got screwed out of coaching at University of Tennessee. They didn't want him there. They didn't want that over their heads. if he saw something, if he didn't see something, did he keep his mouth shut? We all know the story. So he got a chance in the NFL, and wherever he goes, defenses play top notch. That's what his thing is. He's all about defense. So I think that line's showing that Noah's going to quarterback, and they're going to defend well. But you got Phil Jokovic on the other side, the quarterback. Everyone's saying he's going to be a first, second round quarterback taken in the NFL draft. I know last year he had the hand issue, and but prior to that, in 6 games, 918 yards, 7 TDs, 4 interceptions. So, he's primed to have a big game, and at home, this could go, like I'm saying, if Gavin's going to play, we're going to go on that over in a heartbeat. I doubt he's going to play just because of the way the line's moving, so I would lean towards the under. And I would also lean with Boston College just because we know Noah, 7 TDs, 7 interceptions last year. That's not great. They're more of a defensive team. The offense really not one there. Boston College, though, 4 or 5 offensive line are now playing in the NFL, and one was a Zion. He was a first-round pick of the Atlanta Falcons, so they have to rebuild that offensive line, which they've been doing a great job of. I mean, they brought in McNutty, offensive coordinator and stuff, so they want to build that offense to go with their top stud quarterback, but their best player on their team is Zay Flowers. This kid's going to be a number 1, maybe top and number 2 wide receiver draft pick in next year's NFL draft. The kid has everything you need. So, like I'm saying, at home, that 7.5, I wouldn't be scared of that with Noah for Rutgers under center.
Okay, this is going to be quite the game. One that I have not bet yet, but I think you have me convinced, sir, Kevin. Now, what do you have for sale this weekend over at Vegas Insider?
Oh my God, I have so many college picks up. I don't even remember the names of them. I've been just researching, putting stuff up as I like it. When I find out who's quarterbacking this, you might be getting a premium pick right now free, because if I know they're going with Noah for the game, I'm going to go with Boston College, and I'll probably parlay that with the under for myself. I don't like to put a pick up on a total and the spread on the same game, because a lot of people use the internet to make bets these days, and a lot of them don't let you parlay the same games like that. So for my personal, and what I would tell everybody, if you find out Noah is going to be the quarterback for Rutgers, then you can go ahead and parlay that under with the Boston College. And I even take the 7.5. I know you can buy down to 7 and still probably get a nice juicy payout right there. Yeah, and Boston College could go off, but like I said, Greg Schiano, he's a defensive mind. He's not going to let that happen. And their top 2 players for Rutgers are a cornerback and a safety. So, everybody here wants to show off. They all want to make the NFL. These 4 top guys, that's their thing. The safety and the cornerbacks, they want to see what they can do against Zay Flowers, being so highly touted by the NFL and everybody. So I think it's going to be a good game. And another thing, remember, Phil was injured with a hand injury. So what are we going to get from him out of the gate, especially with not a makeshift offensive line, but a young offensive line? Because, Greg's not going to sit back on his heels. They're going to be after him. They're going to attack. And I think they can clog up the lanes and stop that run. So it's going to be all about the passing game and what happens there.
Yeah, this is going to be a great game. I'm so excited for all the games we have ahead of us, kicking off at the top of the hour. Kevin, what's going to be on your TV tonight?
Oh, I don't even know. I'm gonna watch a lot. I mean, I'm Big Ten all the way. I like Big Ten, but I'm a huge Navy fan, being in the military. So whenever I know they play Delaware tomorrow, and that should be a crap show. I don't think Delaware will be able to hang with that triple option, but I'm not even sure. I mean, there's so many. I just flick through because I have the Big Ten network and ACC network. So I flick through. I have the split TV. I haven't figured it out yet. So maybe one of those where I'm on my phone, and if I see a team like moving the ball, maybe click over or something. I live with 4 women, so whoever knows, Sometimes I get stuck up there watching that TV, and that's a nightmare in itself.
Well, good luck with that. I hope you enjoy all of these games tonight and all of this weekend. There's going to be some phenomenal ones. Best of luck. I hope you crush the books, Kevin. Thank you for joining me here on Down to the Wire.
No, did you catch the Penn State game though? That ending? I mean, I told everyone on another, about the under, and boy, Cliff showed up in the fourth quarter and shocked me. And I thought I had Rutgers, thought they're going to cover. It was quite amazing, and that's the kind of games I like. Those kind of endings like that. So
absolutely,
hopefully we get one. Hopefully we get one here.
We're going to have some phenomenal games this weekend. I can't wait to see what these big upsets are going to be, because we know we're going to get another one like Northwestern pulled off against Nebraska. Something's going to happen. It's the excitement of football season. It's the best.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Kevin. Have a wonderful evening. You guys, that was Kevin Thomas. If you're looking for his best bets, all you have to do is head on over to Vegas Insider. I know he did a phenomenal job in college and NFL last season, so you guys don't want to miss out on that. So that brings me to my third best bet of the night. We're going to be wrapping up the show right away here. I want to thank you guys all for hanging with me tonight. We have SMU taking on North Texas. This game is tomorrow. Now, we have an extremely high total of 68.5. But you guys, this is going to be a phenomenal game. Look for SMU to put these points up on the board. North Texas defense is not going to be able to stop all of the weapons of SMU at all. Now, we're going to have a quarterback, Tanner. I can never pronounce his name right. So I'm just going to say Tanner for he's won the starting role for SMU here. He will get the first snap against North Texas. I trust in his arm, and I think he's going to have a big, phenomenal night. I'm looking for this one to hit the over 68.5. I really do think if you can get SMU's team total to the over as well, you should hit that. Now, Tanner comes in here with a 67.8% completion rate last season. He's going to have a strong game against this North Texas team that I really don't think their defense is going to show up in this game tonight. I think they will still get some points on the board because we know SMU had some issues with their secondary last season. So I think North Texas will get some big bombs in there as well. But this one sails over the number of 68.5. It's going to be a great game, you guys. So just to recap, all of my bets today for anyone who joined the show late. I'm going to take Old Dominion plus the points, plus 7.5 with a nice heavy sprinkle on that money line. I think they get the job done tonight. Ohio State, I'm riding their team total over 38.5. That line has moved. So before you place this bet, make sure you shop it because money's coming in on Ohio State each and every single way. So get the best value there. And then SMU, North Texas, we're going to ride that total over 68.5. But again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me here on Down to the Wire. I'm Joe Madden. This is Vegas Insider. It was an absolute pleasure to be here with you guys tonight. Enjoy these games. Keep smiling. Let's make some frickin' money. Bye, guys.